night for Christmas to be good.
Welcome back.
Wait.
Oh, sorry.
In 3, 2, 1.
All right, guys. Welcome back to the Prehistoric podcast. We're still working away at our gingerbread houses. We're going to create some backstories and such for the people that might live, that do live in these houses.
So, like I said, I'll just recap. The family in my house, a mother and a father in their early 30s. Father's a chartered accountant. Mother is a part-time nurse. Son's 9 years old. Very happy-go-lucky young man. Bright future ahead of them. Mother likes a glass of Chardonnay. Father loves men's bathhouses, prostitutes. He likes casual encounters on Craigslist. Infidelity is really important to him. We're not sure why. And probably something to do with his father used to abuse him. And he killed a bunch of dogs when he was a kid.
P.S. I'm Francois Denisian.
I'm Andrew Sorsdahl.
And I'm Bradford Peterson.
And this is episode 7 in our 12-part, 12 podcasts of Christmas.
Yes.
Thanks for that note.
Andrew, I guess if you want to come up with a story for yours.
Sure. So, my house, not quite as big as Brad's house. A little bit smaller, but a lot flashier. Lots more ornaments and such on the house. So I think the people who live here, they make a decent living. So she's probably the teacher, and the father, that's family again, in their late 30s, teacher, and he would be a mechanic or something like that. But they're living way out of their means. Like, they're trying to be flashy.
But they don't have the money.
They don't have the money to support it.
all the bank
So
stuff.
they're swimming in debt. Swimming in debt. And
But everyone around
their
them
kids,
thinks
and
they have money.
yeah, exactly. Everyone around them thinks they're doing okay, especially their kids. They had kids when they were very young. They're high school sweethearts, so they're only they're 40, but their kids are already almost done high school,
Okay.
getting ready to go to college. They have 2 of them.
Now, what are the
two
kids going
boys.
to be taking in school?
Well, that's the kicker. One of them's going into fine art. Wants to go into fine art.
And thinks mom and dad has money because they're not aware of the financial
but
situation.
they don't. And the other is interested in following in his father's footsteps, doing something with his hands, mechanic, something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
I
But he likes to
guess.
spend money, and they deal with their debt by drinking, and they're constantly fighting. The marriage is in shambles.
Do they fight in front of the kids?
No, they're at this point, they're waiting for the kids to go away to college to divorce. That's
Okay.
kind of what's the deal is. Yeah.
Francois,
Very broken home.
why don't you tell us a little bit about your family?
So
Maybe
my
not a family.
Huh?
Maybe
Maybe
not
it's not a
family.
family.
Not a family at all, actually. It's a young couple in their early 20s. They're Mormons. They moved here recently, a year ago. They've been pretty accepted into the community as of such. People have been very nice about their... the community isn't Mormon in any way, and I'm not trying to make it out as if the community is Mormon at all. No, actually, they're outsiders, really, in this community. They've only been here for a year. They have been graciously accepted into the whole society. People have been very accepting of their religion. They're very nice. They're very polite. They go to the grocery store every Tuesday. The husband works...
Steal this here if you're done with it.
The husband works as a... What's a good...
Are we single wife family? Too young to have more than one wife yet.
Yes, single wife family. Single wife family. Actually, you know what? I'm going to say that this Mormon family, they actually... They do identify as Mormon, but they do not identify with some of the more extreme Mormon ideals. They practice monogamy. They are quite reserved in their. They don't try to shove it in anybody's face, but they are very polite. They do exemplify the best traits from the Mormon religion. The wife is stay at home for now. They are preparing to have children within the next 3 years. The father has a degree in psychology of all things. That's kind of an odd career for a Mormon to have, you'd think. But I mean, like, they really exemplify the not falling into a stereotype. sort of family.
That's kind of beautiful.
Yes, and they're very happy thus far. They recently got married. They've only been married for 2 years now, and yeah, a baby's on the way. I think so. I mean, like let's really keep our fingers crossed for this young couple.
It's very beautiful.
Yeah, well.
I'll tell you, because we do live in our families do live in a close proximity. The father for my house definitely has a telescope, and he watches both the husband and wife in that younger family, 20s family chain. And he's very interested, and he loves a good glass of fucking bourbon, and
Watch her take her top off.
yeah, watch you take your fucking top off, you slut. And he's been to prison before, and he will be again. Chartered accountant.
And I will have to state that my Mormon family has no idea that they're being watched while they change.
And they are most certainly being watched.
Most certainly. I do hope that they find it and they contact the proper...
It's not even to say that...
I hope they contact the proper authorities.
That my father figure in my family maybe doesn't even mind a reach around from a stranger.
Oh, God.
You know?
Go for it.
Maybe you're at the swimming pool and you haven't quite got your towel on after the shower, and maybe you'd approach a complete stranger and you maybe just query to find out whether or not they would be interested in tugging on your Johnson from behind. I don't know. It's really you can even do the London bridges underneath, in between the legs, with kind of having the ball sack resting on the wrist, and then a bit of a stroke, and that kind of thing really interests him. Yeah.
No, fair enough. I think for a community to be, like, a community is all about diversity, I think, at the end of the day. And as long as we have a lot of diverse people with a lot of diverse ideals and character quirks, I guess, I think that's what really matters when it comes to a thriving.
Yeah, like if you have a Mormon family, a broken family, and then maybe even somebody who's on the sex offender registry or something like that.
Something like that. It's just, it all helps to make the community
vibrant
and diverse, I think, at the end of the day.
And you don't want, because stagnant is bad.
Yes. No, I 100% agree with you, brother.
And to transition into that, I read an article earlier today that I was trying to remember in the car, and I remember now. So on the 20th of November, during a Toronto Maple Leafs hockey game, the announcer was singing the American National Anthem, and her microphone quit. And without even a 5-second delay, the entirely Canadian audience finished the American National Anthem.
The American National Anthem?
Yes.
That seems unpatriotic and despicable.
I really thought it was quite touching.
That exemplifies the spirit of Canada quite a bit.
Singing the American National Anthem.
I really thought it was beautiful.
Yeah, I agree. It's...
because, I mean, there is still brotherhood. As much as I might even be the number one person who rides in the United States all the time.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, there's still a brotherhood betwixt us.
You would have to waterboard me before I pledged any sort of allegiance or any sort of brotherhood towards the United States of America. They are despicable people, and I will not be involved with them.
That's a lot of people to be all despicable. Another audience.
Generalizations are kind of a thing we do.
They are, absolutely.
Sweeping generalizations and joking stereotypes are kind of a thing that, well, it's not joking, it's just stereotypes.
Bradford, could you please pass me the cum frosting?
The baby gravy.
The what does Louis C.K. call it when he's talking about the Cinnabon?
Oh,
you should call it the fat faggot treats. Yeah, I'll get the hot cum. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It's a small cake designed for one sad fat man, and it comes with this hot jizzy syrup.
Yeah, jizzy syrup. Yeah, I want the hot jizz.
One sad.
Yeah, I want the hot jizz. Come on.
So, first of all, what topics should we discover in the interim?
So I just went on Reddit and I looked at their news section, and there's a couple different ones with a lot of interesting titles. One was titled "CIA Agent Defends Anal Rehydration." So that's kind of interesting, I think. Another one was titled "Obama Legalizing Weed." Another one is titled "Florida Sex Predator Wins Lottery for $3 million." And yeah, those are kind of the ones that I thought had the funniest titles. So that's the most offensive.
So why don't we talk about the anal anal rehydration, and why don't you educate us?
So yeah, so what I'm assuming they're talking about is they're going back to Guantanamo Bay, and essentially what this agent is claiming is that sometimes the unruly prisoners at Guantanamo will not drink, and they will refuse to drink, and they will become extraordinarily dehydrated.
As a form of protest.
And if yes, form of protest. So to hydrate them forcefully, they essentially what's the word for
An enema.
They give them enema. They forcefully give them enemas to hydrate them. And the CIA agent in this article like plays very innocent, and he's like, "Yeah, but we were taught that that's how you that's like the best way to hydrate somebody intravenously without giving them needles." And yeah, so I mean, it's really, I think at the end of the day, if you don't want to have an enema, I think you should probably have the freedom to choose not to have an enema. I think that's probably just a
Have
thing.
a fucking glass of water if you don't want something going up your poop chute. That's all I'm gonna say.
I think, yeah, I just think.
Yeah. I mean, we are talking about an extreme circumstance. Individuals who are often expected of terrorism or
Maybe
some
they've got too
crime
much
against.
pot. They had a bunch of pot on them, so they're in Guantanamo probably.
Yeah, that's the sad state of.
I've got an
Drug
amazing
law.
article here. It's old, but hilarious. It's from December 23rd, 2011. Drunk Santa arrested in Regina Mall.
Oh no.
Kind of exemplifies Saskatchewan, I think.
Drunk Santa.
A 73-year-old man hired as a shopping mall Santa Claus has been arrested for Regina for being drunk in public. The man was escorted out of a downtown mall Friday. He was supposed to start his shift to Santa as the mall's Christmas photo booth. Police took him into custody just before noon as he was preparing to meet with the kids. Mall administrator said that he was found with more than 3 bottles of vodka, and that the agency decided that setting up seasonal photo booths, they will perform record checks before hiring people to work there.
God, I hope so.
I don't know what size a bottle is, but he sounds like a fucking blast. And I'll tell you, he probably watched Bad Santa.
Probably.
And then he got all fucking fucked up.
That's such a good movie. It's one of my favorite Christmas movies.
You watched Bad Santa.
Maybe
Bad Santa
turn that
watched
one
it.
into a house that's condemned. Here, let me. I'll figure it out. I'll make a fucking shanty lean too. Yeah, so what was their next article that you were talking about there, Francois?
So essentially, I guess Congress is doing some more stuff with marijuana and then the legalization and such, and Obama is now, I think, vocally in support of the legalization of marijuana.
That's good. Lots positive about that beyond just people being able to have freedom that they didn't have before. Huge tax money in that, like a ridiculous amount of tax money.
Absolutely. Oh,
Puts a lot of pressure on the Canadian government to do the same.
I don't think you'll never see it under the Harper administration, but definitely if there's a change in government.
I don't think never. If the states legalize it, there's huge pressure.
Not under this conservative government. They'll have to be, because the Harper government will never do it. Just because
Well, they can't just turn tail on it.
No.
They just passed that omnibus crime bill.
Yeah. So now they have to support what they've done in the past. So I mean, I think a conservative regime would do
I
it.
kind of resent that because it doesn't encourage people being, oh well, new evidence has come to light, and I'm actually going to change my stance on this issue because of this evidence,
No, now it's like we have to stand with what we've said before.
despite whatever happens.
Yeah.
Basically.
Have the icing put, Andrew?
Yeah, I'm done. This is my nice little house. They've got a little garage.
A nice.
Consider for consideration.
For your consideration. The Academy. Oh,
What does the
that's
winner
something I
get?
want to
What
talk
does the
about.
winner get?
That's what I want to talk about. You know how sometimes for movies they make for your consideration for the Academy for
Yeah.
award season?
Yeah.
They made one for Transformers 4, which I have to say is the worst movie I have ever seen, bar none. Nothing is as bad as Transformers 4. It is awful from beginning to end. I would rather... I can't even imagine. It's terrible. It's the worst movie I've ever seen, hands down.
What about that Vancouver Film School movie?
Which one? I think I might actually rather watch that Vancouver Film School movie. I would rather watch Death Do Us Part 1,000 times than watch Transformers 4 again. Transformers 4 is so awful. But anyways, they made a for your consideration poster for Transformers 4, and Michael Bay, it says for your consideration, best director Michael Bay, best screenplay. I was like, are you fucking high? Like, you have to know, like, the people who made this movie have to know it's bad. Like, they can't pretend it's good.
Maybe they do. Maybe they're just that deluded.
Like, you'd have to lie to yourself. Like, I don't know how you'd sleep at night if you think that film was good.
What are your least? What really stands out to you as the negatives?
Of the movie?
Yeah.
Oh my god, everything's bad about it. The CG is awful. That's one thing. Even if the CG was awful, I wouldn't really mind. The characterization is awful. Nothing makes any sense ever. Nothing is set up. Random things just happen all the time. The whole movie is like 3 hours and 20 minutes, mindless action, and it's like it honestly is a travesty, and it's exactly what's wrong with Hollywood today. Transformers 4 is just what's wrong with Hollywood.
The epitome of
what's wrong.
Yeah.
Everything about it is awful. It's poorly. It's not even poorly written. Saying poorly written is an understatement.
It doesn't do justice to movies that are actually poorly written.
It's like, this movie isn't written at all. There was no writing. There was no thought. There was nothing that went into this movie. It's the laziest writing I've ever seen. The CG is much worse than the first one. They actually cut the budget on the CG, it seems, because it looks awful and really lazy. The other thing is, like, and Mark Wahlberg is just terrible in it, and all the acting is awful, and
I usually like Marky Mark.
Not in Transformers 4.
Well, I didn't see it. I'm just saying it's surprised that, because I usually don't hate Marky Mark. But
and the product placement. Like, product placement doesn't even usually bother me. It's because if you could put a product in a movie where it would make sense, I don't mind. Like, it's, okay, whatever, I can believe that person owns... I mind when it's like, oh, everybody in this movie owns an Apple computer. It's like, all right, in real life, not everybody owns an Apple computer. Like, there would be some variety. Or, like, cell phones. Not everybody would own a Sony cell phone.
right.
So it's like, but if
not everyone drives a Honda.
Yeah, exactly. But if you put a beer in a movie and it's like, it's a Budweiser, and one guy drinks a Budweiser one time in the movie, it's like, fine. Budweiser's a beer, people drink beer, that makes sense to me, that's fine. One guy drinks a Coke, that's fine, Coke's a drink, people drink it. But in Transformers 4, there's a scene where a spaceship crashes into a Bud Light Platinum truck. Bud Light Platinum goes flying everywhere into the street, is lying. The Bud Light Platinum is, for the most part, completely unscathed. Marky Mark goes up, grabs a Bud Light Platinum, fucking knocks the top off, chugs the whole thing, throws it on the ground right in front of the camera. It was the most shameless plug for Budweiser Platinum I've ever seen in my life. It was literally, you could have just cut that scene out of the movie and it would have worked as a commercial just fine.
Yeah, that's brutal. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm just going to kind of take this somewhere since I can sense stagnation in the conversation going. Morgan Spurlock's documentary, The Greatest Movie Ever Sold, all about product placement. A documentary about product placement that was paid for by product placement.
Yeah.
Very interesting concept. Interesting
Good movie.
I loved it. Yeah,
it was really good. Yeah, product placement's awesome. I think we're going to start seeing a lot more product placement, especially with the climate of media changing how it is. I heard on the radio and read this article about how in the past 6 months was it Canada? I believe Canada. TV viewership, cable, the amount of time that people spend watching cable is down by 60%, and the amount of time that people spend using streaming services, Netflix, etc., is up 60%. So there's definitely a trend going towards no more cable and
you have
streaming
such
services.
a hard on for this.
I do. I think it's awesome. I think.
I agree. I haven't had satellite.
I don't hate network television.
I haven't had satellite television or cable in probably since I was in grade 7. Like, it's always been, since then it was always something else.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, what I love about that is typically streaming services, Netflix, that create their own content. The content's a lot more free. They don't have the same restrictions that networks have, so they can delve into different subjects. They can do different things. I'm really excited to see where Trailer Park Boys goes.
Oh, me too.
With the fact they have so much more freedom. They're not answering to a network, and also just that it's so much cheaper. Like in Canada, we get hosed, just absolutely ass rammed for cable and cell phone and internet. So anything that can make that bill a little bit cheaper is awesome in my opinion, and that's what streaming services provide that cable companies can't.
No, I'm a big Netflix guy.
Yeah, me too.
I like Netflix a lot.
And I think where they're going in the right direction is that they're not only making smart purchases with what shows and movies that they own, right? They're also funding new content. House of Cards, Lilyhammer, Hemlock Grove wasn't my thing, but it was very well done. And I think that's why they're going to kind of be a prominent player in this new climate. And also just with people having like us having access to high quality equipment, we don't have to go through a studio system or a network to create a movie. It's just find funding somehow. Either we make it ourselves or get a couple of sponsors, and then we can start. We could feasibly create our own content, right?
Yep.
So that's why product placement I think is going to be big, and how that affects the creative process is interesting, because now it's going to be a challenge for a lot of writers to write in product placement into that, so it's natural. House of Cards, him sitting there playing video games, how brutal that is. He's sitting there basically looking at the controller and mashing the buttons.
I was going to say, had they sat him down 10 minutes before the scene and been like, this is how you hold a game controller, this is how much you move this is how much you move this, that's all you have to do. But it seems like in every bloody movie where I was watching a movie the other day where a guy had, it was The Dictator. I was watching The Dictator, not a good movie.
I like it.
I didn't hate it. It wasn't very good though.
There was a few funny
Is that the
parts,
first time you've seen it?
No, second time. It's the first time I really hated it, so I thought I'd give it a second chance because I like Sacha Baron Cohen a lot, but I did not like that movie. Anyways, there's a scene where he's playing the Wii, and he's playing a first-person shooter, and to play a first-person shooter on the Wii, you have to have the nunchuck and you have to have the Wiimote, because you need this to move and then you need this to point, and he only had the Wiimote and he was doing the whole thing, and I'm like, it's so easy to do like 7 seconds of research so that you can figure out so that it makes sense, because the moment you have a guy who watches the movie, who knows how video games actually work, he's just going to call bullshit, takes him right out of it, and it just makes it seem like you don't care and you're sloppy. And it just takes 7 seconds. Like, why? Why can't it happen? Why can't one movie have some decent fucking video game scene?
I 100% agree. I think the big thing with Sacha Baron Cohen also is that Borat was just such a genius film. It was so well done. All the interactions in it were just hilarious, and I think everything he's done since that movie is trying to get back to that standard of.
Like Bruno was pretty brutal.
It was just gay porn. I don't have anything. I just didn't want to see that. It was.
The best part in Bruno for me was when he convinces what's her name from American Idol. Who was the original girl on American Idol? The judge.
Kelly Clarkson.
No, the judge.
Paula
Abdul. He convinces Paula Abdul to come to an interview with him, and he has those Mexican people bend down, and then he convinces her that they are Mexican chair people, and she's so stupid that she actually sits on them for a while and goes with it. I've never seen... Paula Abdul might be one of the dumbest people on the face of the planet.
She does know how to have nice boobs, though.
I think the cosmetic surgeons have a big
say
in.
Oh, she looks all natural.
Maybe.
I would actually bet both my arms and my head on the fact that she is not naturally sculpted.
Yeah. So streaming services, awesome. I really think that.
I don't have a problem with network television like you guys do. I like network television.
I think it's like if you're separate, if you kept with it, then it's fine. But the moment you're separated from it for like any sort of extended period of time and you try to go back to it,
It's awful.
It's awful.
So
It's
awful.
like how can people do commercials? How?
I have
know.
How do people
PVR.
stand
And the
commercials?
same commercials, like I keep saying, like, I hate this. The same commercials over and over and over again. And,
I can't.
it's brutal.
I can't do satellite or cable anymore.
Advertising needs to change also because, well, it will as soon as we shift from.
Well, yeah,
Network
it's just going
streaming.
to become really extremely YouTube-ish, I imagine.
Yeah, I think it'll be a combination of that and product placement.
Yeah, but there are obviously certain products you can't place.
Well, obviously not. Obviously not. But it'll be more so at the beginning and end of things
Right.
as opposed to throughout. Also, another interesting point with regards to how Netflix changed the game with regards to content creation and writing is with the ability to release an entire season all at once. You can write that a lot differently than something that has to come out every week, and when you have to write in commercial breaks.
Yeah.
It really gives you a lot more freedom as a writer to have episodes end on cliffhangers, and you don't have to wrap things up as eloquently as you would with a normal network show. This candy's awful.
The worst candy I've ever eaten.
It's awful.
It
Like
is.
this fucking shanty. Their homeless guy lives in the yard with my family. Well, he's not homeless.
Do they
he's
allow it?
home, but
Like, is it? Are you good with that?
it used to be like a shed where they keep their lawnmower and shit.
Yeah.
But they don't even bother anymore just because.
But they used to keep their lawn.
And sometimes when the husband comes home drunk, it's
Sometimes.
he like spends bathhouses, right? So
Yeah. He goes in there,
he goes in there and
just checks out things.
Yeah.
She checks out things.
Look at how shitty it's built. Anyway, John, who lives in here in this shanty, he's a Vietnam veteran.
in the 60s.
He did 4 tours.
Wow.
How did he do 4 tours?
So I said, wow.
Oh yeah,
4
wow.
tours. That's a lot of tours to do to Vietnam.
Oh, absolutely it is. It's probably the maximum amount of time you could have spent there. He's got PTSD bad. I had a job at a Starbucks. He was a barista. When Starbucks first opened in Seattle, because when he came home from Vietnam, he went straight to Seattle. That's where he grew up. And when Starbucks first started in Seattle, he had a job at one of the original Starbucks locations. Ended up shooting a fire extinguisher on an old woman. Thought she was part of the Viet Cong.
Oh God.
Moved to Lincoln, Nebraska, where he spent time with a woman. She was a bit of a transient, a drifter. She ended up
What was her
stabbing
name? What was
him.
her name?
Do
You remember?
something Maurice or Maria Melina?
Maurice.
Sorry. Yeah, could have
Maurice.
been.
So this was a man,
No,
a woman named Maurice.
anyway, so she got him really high one night on heroin, and he was just fucked up, and she robbed him for all he was worth.
And then that sent him into a deep
That sent him into a depression.
And this is
to
before
go
his
along
wife.
with.
Yeah, and he moved to Idaho. That's where this village is. And now he's just been living in this garden shed for about 15 years, to be honest. He's been there longer than my family's been living in the home.
Right, but for the first few years, he was totally stealthy about living there.
Yeah, and now
Now it's just he stays there. There's broken bottles all over the place.
sexual favors is really part what it was rent.
Yeah. Well,
Degrading
man's
sexual.
got to eat.
Man's got to eat dick to stay alive.
That's dick.
What do you need that?
So
You
should
need a
we
little
should we
dab
begin
there.
with the trailer
Huh?
park?
Need a dab there. And let's put those down.
Okay, well there's these houses, so let's put these off to the side over by Francois, and then we'll begin on the trailer, and Francois will move us into our next topic.
Living in a trailer.
Dunmucker climb.
So we were kind of talking
Oh,
about.
Mocker, I like
We were talking about before the podcast started. We sort of brushed on police officers. Now they're going to institute a new policy, or they have instituted a new policy where if a police
Canada,
officer
yeah.
stops you while you're driving, he has the right to take your cell phone and check it to see if you've been texting while driving.
Yes.
Essentially.
or calling or anything, being on the internet.
So my only question with that is, how could he possibly prove? Like, the only way I guess he could possibly prove is if he followed you for 5 minutes and he checked your call and saw that you made a call within the last 5 minutes.
Well, the idea is that you get in an accident and they immediately check your phone, and if they find that you were on your phone within 10 minutes of the accident, you're found immediately at fault.
So this is only in accident situations.
Well,
Yes,
that's
the
what the only
time
thing
they
we were
see
going to
is the
apply.
phone.
Yeah.
Well, my understanding was even if you get pulled over, it's like they could be like,
No,
hand
this
me
is
your
for
phone.
accidents.
Oh, okay, well that's not that bad.
No, yeah, they just can't seize your phone for absolutely no reason.
Okay, well I'm totally fine with that.
They can't just pull you over and be like, yeah, let's see if you were texting and driving, motherfucker.
Yeah, that was my understanding.
Actually, I think they could probably do that now, but
They could, but they would receive
actually,
such backlash.
no,
for
no,
that.
you have to. If they ask you to see your cell phone and you say no, they can't look at it. If you give them consent to see your phone, absolutely they can check it and use it as evidence because you've consented to them allowing to see it.
This law, the whole thing is they can do it without a warrant.
Yes.
So does that mean they can do it without consent then too?
For
Yes.
accidents, yes.
For accidents, but not for
Not just every
just
day.
a normal stop.
No.
They pulled you over.
What it is to protect people who get fucked over by people who are texting and driving, and then end up having to pay for the accident even though they weren't at fault.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Let's move our house over there, pass those candies, and let's build our trailer park setup.
Let's arrange our village. How do the houses look? Village here. This guy needs to be like this, because he has a telescope that looks right into this house.
Jesus Christ.
Right? So
I don't know.
look into the front. No, look into the
Side window to the side window.
Yeah.
Bathrooms in this section.
Yeah. This
My poor Mormon family.
Well, they shouldn't have.
And the other thing is, this family also, my family, fucking hates your family because they allow the transient to live there, and he breaks into their garage all the time and tries to steal stuff and scares the kids often, trying to solicit sexual favors from them for money. They really don't like
Let's
it.
point these towards the camera.
I just think that we're gonna have to move it because we need to
Make the
build
fucking, yeah.
move that off.
Keep passing
the
the
table.
scissors from swap. Oh, there's black icing in this one.
If it tastes like black licorice, I am not down.
Throw it off there so we can have it by the camera. There.
I stand on guard for thee, but I just can't stand the cold.
Yeah.
If you haven't checked out the Barrelman, do that. Cause they
Barrelman, the church. We probably already said that a couple times.
We stand on guard for thee, but I just can't stand the cold.
Oh, dead air, dead air. What should we talk about?
Don't say
Don't
that.
say dead air.
I will say dead air. When
No,
it's
no,
sitting
no,
there.
no, don't.
Yes.
Why would
You
you
bring
point it
attention to it, and then it ruins everything.
Yeah, don't do it.
Don't bring attention to it.
Stock wasn't there, so I'll have to do that shit. Anyways,
Florida sex predator wins $3 million lottery. Should a convicted sexual predator be allowed to win the lottery?
Absolutely.
absolutely.
If he bought a ticket, he has just a chance like anybody else.
Yeah,
I actually think that they should have better chances. I think that their odds of winning lottery should be improved significantly
Oh no.
because of sexual acts, especially against children.
Oh god.
Oof.
I'm entirely kidding.
He's not. That's a scary thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, how? Because I in the article I looked at a picture of this guy, and why is it that every sexual predator looks like a vicious sexual predator?
Because they, I don't know. I think
Why do they all? It's like
they're
I've
all
never-
character actors. and
Whenever,
they're really method actors.
whenever somebody's like, "Oh, this guy's a sexual predator," he showed me a picture. I'm not surprised in the slightest when I look at those people. I'm
Man,
like,
I
how
had-
did nobody see this?
I had a
not see this
girlfriend in
before?
high school, and her uncle's name was
Oh, yeah.
Richard John Hawkins. Like that is the most serial killer name you've ever heard.
Hawkins.
Richard. They all have three names.
Yeah.
John Wayne Gacy. And
John
it's
Wilkes Booth.
John Wilkes Booth. That was not a serial
He
killer.
said that was a man who,
A
that was a
note-
man who killed.
A notable killer.
And killer with notoriety. Yes.
Yeah. John. What did I say? I can't remember now. All of a sudden, it just
Richard
blank.
John Hawkins.
Richard John Hawkins.
Very serial killer like.
Yeah, that sounds like a serial killer. So this sex offender wins the lottery. Good on him.
I mean, at the end of the day, that story amounts to some guy won the lottery
Yeah.
who happened to be a sex offender.
So many people are probably.
And we don't even know what was he a Gian Gomeshi sex offender? Was he a?
I think more pedophilic.
We don't know that. We don't know if he was a child. He might have liked 18-year-old girls, and I had. And
18-year-old girls.
You could still be a sex offender, sexual assault, or
Yeah.
Statutory rape.
So that's what I'm saying. You probably shouldn't have sex with 18-year-old girls.
if that's what he wanted
Oh,
to do,
God.
then I guess that's his own thing, right?
No.
It's
What
not
is the law?
statutory rape.
What are the laws in the United States? Is it different state by state?
No, but it's fairly similar to Canada. A lot of sexual acts, anyway.
That's kind of an interesting story. Did you read about all those sex acts that was banned in UK porn?
Oh yeah, no, we haven't talked about that, but yeah, talk about that.
Essentially, it's just like people are kind of upset because it's random. It's really random sex acts that have been banned in porn.
Yeah.
And one of the ones that I remember them going into in the article specifically is face sitting. And they interviewed some famous UK femdom porn person, and she said, "Well, I can't do this because that's the main part of my career and what people watch my porn for."
You don't want to know interesting. Let's get into porn.
Oh,
Did you know Canada is the #1 porn country in the world?
Yeah, we produce the most porn.
We produce the most porn.
What?
More than Silicon Valley.
More than Silicon Valley by a lot.
Peter North, man.
And in Canada, we actually have one of the most famous face sitters in the world.
What's her name?
His name is Uncle D.
Uncle D.
Yeah, Uncle D. The Canadian ass man, they call him. He was on showcases,
I'm a little bit disturbed that you know that.
Web Dreams was the show was called.
Why do you know?
Friday Nights Without Borders.
Why do you know these things?
Anybody who's watching, a lot of you have watched Friday Nights Without Borders
A
on
lot of
Showcase.
you.
Don't lie to me. And Uncle D was on there, and he was the real Canadian ass man. They love face sitting. Loved it.
I don't understand. He loved to
Have women sit on his face.
have women sit on his face. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, he would, and he didn't do video, no nudity. Just clothed women in their underwear, sit on his face. And then he would take photos of it. He'd really
Oh, okay. See, I thought he sat on people's faces.
No, he had women sit on his
I was
face.
gonna say, like, who would want that?
Super good looking guy, really fit, super charismatic. Loved
You
to have
be
women
Ryan
sit-
Reynolds. I don't want you to sit on my face.
I would have to disagree with that. I would have Ryan Reynolds sit all over me.
Sit all over.
I would
Does
force
this not
Ryan.
come with any icing?
I would force
Yeah,
Ryan.
On that
Silverback.
black shit?
Silverback.
Okay.
Silverback.
I would force Ryan Reynolds.
To sit on my face.
Sit on my
fucking face.
Look out, Ryan Reynolds.
Ooh.
What? Why do you keep fucking up?
I don't know what happened. Did you cut this?
Yes.
You're not supposed to cut it. It needs to be kneaded and then put into this bag.
Oh, just fucking use the silver bag.
We had this one. Might as well use it.
He's fucking half out of it. He doesn't even know what day it is anymore.
What day is it?
Thursday.
Thursday?
Okay. This is the Santa Pack Trailer Pack. I hope it comes with this fucking satellite dish.
It does right there.
Oh, it's a fucking bullshit.
Fucking bullshit. It's a little pop out.
You know, it's not
Bullshit.
working.
If you want to cut a little bit bigger of a...
It's not even double sided. That's a travesty.
Double-sided? What does the inside need to be?
Oh, but I mean, you see it from both sides.
Because it goes on the top of the thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it went on the front. Oh, yeah, the top. Sorry. I'd be very excited for Santa's little place. Oh, he's got golf clubs on the roof because he's an old drunk.
Yeah. He's an old drunk that likes to sit on the roof and hit some balls.
Loves the balls. Santa balls, Santa balls. Anyway.
I haven't heard The Night Santa Went Crazy in forever. That's such a good Christmas song. Weird Al? Classic of my childhood.
I don't know if I've ever heard that one.
The night Santa went crazy. The night St. Nicholas split. Realized he was getting a raw deal.
No, never heard it. And I love Weird Al Yankovic.
One of his more popular songs.
Mm.
It most certainly is.
I feel like Beat It, and he had so many songs.
So many songs, and all of them are very popular, I understand. But this, I don't know how you've never heard The Night Santa Went Crazy. Such a good song.
You know his best song's White and Nerdy?
Really?
Yep.
It doesn't actually surprise me that much, now that I think about it, just because of the time when it came out, how popular the original song was.
Yeah, dude, I haven't heard Riding Dirty in forever. That's going in that playlist of ours.
For playing
I have a
Grand Theft Auto.
CD.
Would you mind holding that, Francois? I can't. I just gotta squeeze the rest of this out.
In Hazlet, when I went to school, in probably grade 8, Riding Dirty was so popular.
Oh, I remember it was like hot shit. It was like hot and cold.
You're
Hot when you're cold, yes when you're
That song was everywhere. Everybody knows that song.
You got me down. You're black when you're black and I'm white. That's wrong. Not right.
Yes.
We fight, we break up. My dad hates the color of your skin.
No. My dad. Wow.
Just talking real here on the Prehistoric Podcast. Talking real.
Very real.
We're not gonna bullshit you, except that's all we do.
Oh, here's something. So from all this Rosetta, the Rosetta spacecraft recently landed on that asteroid. We kind of touched on that briefly
In the first podcast?
in the first podcast. It was an amazing feat of engineering. It was a multi-year mission, like almost a decade, I think. And they're discovering now. So a theory scientists have had for a long time was a big question in the scientific community is, where did the water on planet Earth come from? And so a common theory has been, and kind of the accepted theory has been, that comets barraged the Earth at some point, and because comets are made up of ice, the water melted, and that's where our water came from. But now this Rosetta spacecraft landed on a comet recently, took some samples, and they discovered that the isotope, the hydrogen isotope, contained within the water within these comets is completely different than the isotopes on Earth, than the hydrogen that's on Earth. So now they're thinking that these comets probably aren't what seeded the Earth with water. So now they're trying to figure out.
Well, what the heck was it?
Yeah, exactly. So a theory that's coming up now is that actually it was asteroids, because comets contain a large amount of water, a large volume of water. So that's why that was kind of the accepted theory, because it's like that's an easy way for a ton of water to get on Earth quickly. But now people are saying it could be asteroids, because asteroids do also, some asteroids contain trace amounts of water, but it was taking a lot longer period of time. Yeah. So I mean, that's kind of interesting. Water on Earth, where did it come from?
It's interesting when theories get debunked like that.
Yeah, it's
especially things that are long-standing and almost accepted as truth.
Yes, I think that's because we touched on why space exploration is so important, and I think that's another reason why space exploration is so vital, because it's mankind has never made discoveries as quickly as when it has a dedicated space program. We make discoveries so quickly, and such radical discoveries all the time, and we invent things that change our lives.
House is different than this one.
How so?
Oh no, the one in the back's different. Or does it have a door in the back? No. It's a different fucking house.
No, it's not. This just comes off.
No. The door's not in the middle on this one.
True.
Oh, you're right.
Did you put one of the sides on backwards?
Yeah, maybe.
No, I didn't.
Okay. Weird.
Goddamn son of a bitch. If you're gonna fucking
no goddamn son of a
false
bitch.
advertising.
silver bells.
No more singing. We're done with that now.
So much singing.
No one wants to hear my shitty singing or yours.
I don't know what you're talking about. Shitty singing. All I do is sing good.
Sing good.
Mama sing.
Guy who's all about grammar says all I do is sing good. I sing good and I sing loud.
That's
I
like
sing
proud,
loud.
baby.
If we're anything, it is definitely hypocritical.
Yes, that's one
Largely of each other and ourselves.
Yes, we are.
Francois is probably the most critical of himself. Actually, the both of you are fairly critical of yourself.
I'm very self.
And I'm not at all. I'm God's gift to me.
I'm the first one. It's like something goes wrong. I assume that I did something that messed it up.
I said the word hypocritical. Hypocritical.
Oh,
It's got nothing to do with being critical.
hypercritical. I thought you said.
No.
You
I mean,
also
I
thought
think
that
we are. I would say that we are hypercritical when it comes to our work, and we do try to excel at what we do. So I mean, and I think that's healthy to be hypercritical because I mean, if you're hypercritical, you don't make mistakes as often because I mean.
That's unacceptable.
But I mean, you have to be accepting of your mistakes. You have to know that mistakes are going to happen. But I mean, it's good to be critical of your mistakes so that those mistakes don't happen again. I'm speaking to myself.
Cardboard, eh?
Episode podcast 2, in which the wide is completely out of focus. I apologize to the audience again for that. It will never happen again.
Never.
Never. I will never have an out of focus wide for a podcast ever again.
That's okay.
I'm gonna hold you to that.
I'm going to hold you to that.
Well,
Oh.
Yep.
Can't see things happening off camera. It's on camera.
So, let's talk a little bit about the Bill Cosby situation.
no.
Oh, jeez.
Why?
No, it's good. It's just...
I'm just such a fan of stand-up comedy, and he was always someone who
He can
I'm
still
gonna
be
say
funny
look-
if he cuts too much.
looked up. Well, it's true. It doesn't take changes at his comedy.
I really like using. I use the word touch too often, and it really has a connotation of pedophilia, and he was not a pedophile.
Let's tear that.
What's
box
he
up.
What's he accused of? I haven't really researched.
Rape allegations. Allegedly, he raped a few women.
Oh, allegedly.
Super allegedly.
So many allegedlys.
Also, the original person who accused him is essentially a failed model in her 50s.
Yeah.
So we're thinking it might be a publicity stunt.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm saying that there's still that possibility, for sure.
But I thought I heard the other day that Bill Cosby has almost admitted it.
I don't know about that.
I don't know.
I honestly haven't been following the story because it was just the fact that it happened was kind of.
Why does this keep happening?
Sad.
Why do people who are in... Is it a power struggle thing? Is it because
It's like that South
it's
Park
easier
episode.
for celebrities to come
What
out?
is it about money and power that has men want to sleep with so many different women?
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like men who don't have power and money.
The
have
sex
no interest in
addiction.
sex.
The sex addiction is leaving my body.
Who does that?
All of them do. It's
Really?
like because they have the
It's
witch.
falling apart.
They have the witch of
They're
sex
fucking- they're
addiction.
fucking-
Oh, trailer fell apart.
They have the witch that cursed them all with sex addiction, and then
That's right.
they dress up the CIA agent as an alien witch, and then they make Kyle shoot him repeatedly, and it's a CIA
Why can't I
agent,
remember
and
any
he's
of
like
Yeah.
muffled seems, and he's like tied up, and they have an alien helmet on him, and singing, he's like, help me, and then they're like, Kyle, shoot him, it's the witch.
Is that the one where I'd like to have sex with the girls in the public bathroom? Is that Ben Roethlisberger?
Don't have sex with girls in the public bathrooms. Yeah, it's Ben Roethlisberger.
Oh, Ben. Oh, everybody in the NFL.
Yeah, it's just like these. Tiger Woods, everybody loved him, and then he cheated on his wife. Arnold Schwarzenegger, loved him, then he had a love child. Why can't you be famous and not have weird sexual
I don't know why they don't
tendencies?
just don't get married.
Yeah, I was gonna say, why just don't get married? That's such an
If I was
eloquent
yeah.
solution. But I guess I don't know. There's something. I must say there is something to
The scandal.
having a constant in your life. That's
And
really nice.
railroading tons of hot broads all the time.
That's the thing. They're trying to have their cake and eat it too.
I was watching Ron White, if you know who he is.
Oh, I love Ron
yeah,
White.
some of his newer stuff. And he was talking about Tiger Woods. Now, they don't talk about any of the times that he turned down sex. And how he probably was offered like exponentially more amounts of times than he said yes to
Yeah.
by the end of it. and then and he ties it into how, oh, my wife, he hates Tiger Woods, but doesn't hate the neighbor down the street who cheated on his wife, and he asks her why. She says, oh, it's just because it was only once. He only had one chance.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and he took it.
Yeah, it's so true.
Like, and then he goes.
You would get warned now with women trying to solicit sex from you all the time.
Yeah.
I have to say, like, I'm not in the situation, so
Like
I can't.
beautiful women throwing themselves at you, saying like, "Look."
No,
at
that's
my
what I mean. It's
milky
like
white
I'm not a
breasts."
millionaire. I can't really speak to what it would be like to be a millionaire and also be married.
It's about the fame too.
And the fame and everything, but it's like I would like to think that my moral compass is so that I would not cheat on my wife.
I mean, everyone
I
would
think
like to say
a
that.
lot of people would like to say that. Yeah.
I think a lot of people would like to say
I
that.
just think
I bet Tiger
when
Woods
there's
would
a-
also like to say
There's a
that.
whole. It's the problem is your private cell phone number gets out, and now there's a bunch of pictures of milky white breasts on your phone. That's tough.
Fair enough.
What's the difference
Milky
between
White
Tiger
breasts.
Woods and Santa Claus?
What?
Santa Claus stops after 3 hoes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, did you hear Tiger Woods? He hits 18 holes a day,
Yeah,
and he plays around to golf too.
I have heard that one.
Super old jokes.
Old Teague. Yeah, no, Teague's still a great golfer.
You know who I still got?
Yeah,
Roger Federer. He's still such a good guy. He's always been a good guy. He's still such a good
allegedly.
Allegedly a good.
guy. Allegedly a
He's
good
allegedly a good person. I have to say that now because I don't know.
guy. It's like, you can't put faith in anybody.
Maybe like there's gonna be a child porn ring that's discovered, and he's at the center of
Roger Federer. Oh, I'd be so disappointed. I love
it.
him so much.
God, was that in Canada that they discovered that child porn ring?
Yes.
It was like mostly police officers and men of the church.
Yeah.
It was like
really
mostly
bad.
teachers. It was mostly people authority figures.
It was teachers, a few teachers, lots of police officers, and lots of church officials.
Yeah.
Who was I listening to recently? What was I listening to where we were talking about? Apparently, like recently, the lead singer or somebody who was in the Who. Okay. Anyways, I think it was the lead guitarist, maybe the lead singer of the Who. Back in the '90s, was involved in the scam, and nobody's heard about it. He was caught red-handed with child pornography on his computer, and they were like, "You're going to prison forever." And he's like, "No. I was doing research to catch pedophiles." And he got off in a court of law.
In a couple. of
He
different
had-
ways.
He
really got off.
he had
He
lots of
masturbated.
saved images and videos, and he claimed it was research so that he could catch.
Well, he's a good guy.
But
Good
he,
guy, lead singer of Who.
he's a famous guitarist, so he must be a good guy, right?
That's the thing is like, and I
He's
really,
famous,
I
and
love the
famous
Who.
people.
The Who was, I considered it to be my favorite band from that era, and now it's like I don't really want them to be my favorite band anymore because they're.
He
fucking-
was doing research.
They have child. He was doing research.
He was saving lives, is what he was doing.
Yeah.
And you know what? If you do a little bit of research and masturbate to children to research,
No. Oh,
it's
we
like the
gotta-
episode of.
No, we gotta stop this.
There's an
That's
episode.
awful.
There's an episode of Drawn Together when Captain Hero goes they go into Captain Hero's bedroom and they open his closet and it's like, Captain Hero, why have you got a bunch of crime scene photos and like hand lotion, Kleenexes? It's like, he said something akin to that. It's like I was doing research.
That's research.
I love how the guy from the Who gets off in a way that sounds like it was a joke in a television show.
Like, I just, you get caught. There's child pornography on your computer.
Yeah.
It's research. How could you?
Yeah, it seems.
Pretty touch and go to me.
Yeah, pretty touch and go. Good way to describe it.
Pulls a mill out of his pocket. It's research. No, sir, that's child. It's research.
Gets caught with a pound of heroin.
Research.
I was just doing research, trying to lure some people and bring them to jail.
Bring them to
Justice.
justice. Vigilante style.
Oh, for sure. You broke so many laws, but you're famous, so.
Like, we have to become famous just so that we can break laws and not go to prison.
I'm just gonna dust this whole town in some snow.
Yeah, might as well.
The greasy cock of God.
Ooh, this is really.
Oh, God.
This really looks like jizzy hot syrup.
Fuck, she ain't easy to push it. Oh, now the bag's broke. Come on, baby. Come on, girl. There you go.
Yeah.
Look at this beautiful little town. Here comes Santa Claus. Here comes.
Like. Oh, God.
Here comes
Don't
Santa
forget
Claus.
Santa
Here
Claus.
comes Santa Claus. Here he comes.
Here he comes.
That works on so many levels.
Oh, man.
Like, the plagues of Egypt
Yeah.
didn't end in Egypt.
There we go. I feel so much better now. Really, we've just essentially made a big sugary mess that we now have to clean up.
Well, that's all in cardboard.
Because those sprinkles aren't going anywhere but on the cardboard. There's no way they could have fallen off the table and onto the floor. Ugh.
There, now, a bunch of guys live there. Look at this beautiful fucking. This beautiful fucking
Probably
house.
have to back that up.
Excuse me, I'm gonna have to get by you. My hands are just covered in.
Yeah, like this became boring early.
Yeah.
No, it's good. Look at this.
We're trying.
Look at the family. Oh, look at inside here.
Look at Tiger. What are you doing? Oh, God.
It's interesting and informative.
So much ridiculousness.
There wasn't going to not be ridiculousness.
I've said it many times before. Brad Peterson is the most ridiculous person I've ever met and will ever meet, and that is just fact.
I tried.
It's yes, most certainly is a fact.
How much time we got left?
I don't know.
Very little, I think. Come on, bud. Here we go. 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Let's close up by talking about.
I love when you begin phrases like that. Let's close up by talking about, and you have no idea what's coming
No,
after.
I know.
But hopefully by the time you finish the sentence,
I'll be able
let's
to think
finish up by talking about, hopefully by the time you finish the sentence, you'll have thought of something else.
Let's finish up by talking about the fact that. Why won't this fucking come apart? There we go. Get this ready. Let's talk about the format of the podcast in the future.
Okay.
So, as Francois and I were discussing, I think Francois, Andrew, and myself were discussing, I think that the format of the podcast in the future is going to be between an hour and a half and an hour and a half.
Yeah.
We haven't decided quite yet. A week, right?
Once a week,
episodes.
yeah.
4 episodes
A month.
a month.
And then, so yeah, essentially nailed it right on the head. Like, I mean, this month,
A little bit crazy.
so crazy. 12 podcasts. We had no idea what we were in for. I mean, we're just past halfway done.
And we also, the other thing is we wanted to get a lot of just trying to get in the swing of doing
Practicing, yeah.
it, practicing it. Obviously, we're not as good as some of the professionals out there. That
Yeah, but I mean,
make
when
money,
they
but-
began, they were probably shit too.
Well,
so.
exactly. I'm not saying.
I mean, I feel like-
didn't think we're shit.
Yeah, I feel like
No,
we're doing
we're
pretty
trying,
good.
we're
We're doing
trying.
pretty good already. So yeah, 4 podcasts a month.
And we might
After
even break
December.
off and do different categories of podcasts.
Exactly.
And stuff.
We might start doing like
Individual.
more shows as the podcast develops and as we become better at it and as we become more comfortable with the whole format and like
get an
setting up
audience.
and faster. And yeah, as our audience grows, we'll probably branch out into different podcasts, ranging from a whole bunch of subjects. Like Brad was talking about, he wants to do a political podcast. Why don't you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so I think what I was kind of talking about was doing a podcast that's kind of, as boring as it might sound to some people, about politics in Saskatchewan and even in wider international politics in Canada, and about kind of political apathy in the youth population, and just kind of bringing out the subject and talking about subjects that interest people on the whole, like preparation age feels good on the whole, but really addressing the issues and talking to people in a way that keeps them interested, because a lot of young people could care less about politics. So it would be nice to be interesting and informative, and I think that would be good. And even if I just do an hour, like I said, every 2 weeks or 2 hours a month,
Yeah.
bring different guests on and
I
stuff.
think it could be really interesting if you structure it. Not structure it. If you.
The other
I
thing is,
think it's important. I think it's an important thing to.
and I think
to
in
do.
January we could start bringing. If we brought one guest in a month, I think that would be good.
Yeah.
Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, so yeah, you have a lot to look forward to in the future. Thanks very much for tuning into the podcast today. We'll see you next time for part 8 of the 12 podcast of Christmas.
Yay.
Have an awesome evening.
What have we done? 7, and we need to do 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Yeah. We got
So 5.
5 more, yeah.